Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into some ancient wisdom that might just, make your stomach rumble a little bit.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we're going to be exploring an excerpt from the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, specifically chapter 68 of The Spiritual Pivot.
Okay.
So get ready for a fascinating look at how, ancient Chinese medicine viewed digestive health.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and maybe you'll even find some, surprisingly relevant insights for today.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised by how much this ancient text kind of resonates with, modern understandings of gut health. It really highlights the enduring power of observation and the human quest to understand our bodies.
Absolutely. So the excerpt we're looking at starts with the Yellow Emperor himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of a big deal in Chinese history and medicine,
For sure.
chatting with his advisor, Chibo. And the emperor is puzzled by a specific kind of digestive distress. So imagine like food just sitting in your gut for way too long.
Oh,
Uncomfortable, right. And what's so fascinating is the text's explanation for this, this sluggish digestion.
well, it's important to remember that this conversation comes from a foundational text of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM.
Right.
TCM emphasizes the interconnectedness of mind, body, and environment, a concept that's gaining more traction in Western medicine today.
For sure.
In this case, the text points to parasites as a potential culprit.
Parasites, I have to admit that's not the first thing that comes to mind when I think about an upset stomach.
Right.
But what's the ancient reasoning behind this?
The text explains that when our emotional state, diet, or even the temperature around us gets out of whack, it throws off the body's natural harmony.
Okay.
This, according to TCM, leads to a buildup of what they call cold fluids in the intestines.
Interesting.
And guess what loves a cold, damp environment?
Ooh, I don't know what.
You got it.
Parasites.
Okay, so the ancient text is saying these parasites are attracted to the cold, and they actually clump together in the gut.
That's a pretty vivid image.
It is. They believe these clumps block the flow of energy, creating what they call pathogenic chyme. Think of pathogenic chi as like a disruption of the body's natural flow and balance,
Okay.
similar to, how we talk about inflammation and gut microbiome imbalances today.
Gotcha. And get this, the text even describes these cold-loving parasites rising up when someone eats, leaving like a void in the lower intestines.
Wow.
It's like they're throwing a little parasite party in there.
Right. And according to TCM, that void allows for more pathogenic chi to build up, leading to all sorts of discomfort, stagnation, bloating, and even abscesses.
Oh, no.
They even link the location of the abscess to whether the pain is deep or more superficial. You can imagine how miserable that would be.
Absolutely. I can definitely relate to that, like that feeling of being bloated and uncomfortable after eating.
Yeah.
So what did they recommend doing about this back then, besides, avoiding parasites?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The text advocates for a multi-pronged approach. First, they recommend gentle needling around the abscess.
Needling, like acupuncture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They believe this helped to clear blockages and get energy flowing smoothly again.
So even thousands of years ago, they were using acupuncture to address digestive issues. That's amazing. What else did they recommend?
They also believed in using heat therapy to kind of warm up the area and disperse the pathogenic qi. And of course, lifestyle changes were crucial too. The text emphasizes dietary restrictions, managing stress, and even maintaining emotional balance as essential parts of restoring harmony in the body.
Right. So it's not just about treating the symptom, but like addressing the root cause, a
Right.
concept that resonates strongly today.
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a much more holistic approach than just, popping a pill.
Yeah.
So if we're thinking about applying these principles to modern digestive problems, where do we even begin?
That's a great question, and one we'll definitely explore further. But for now, I want to point out one more detail from the text that I find particularly be fascinating.
Okay.
After the obstruction clears, they recommend a diet rich in salty and bitter flavors to aid digestion.
Okay.
Think fermented foods or bitter greens. Does that sound familiar?
It totally does. Fermented foods and bitter greens are all the rage these days for gut health. It's amazing how this ancient wisdom seems to align with modern dietary trends.
It really makes you wonder, what else did they figure out back then that we're just starting to rediscover today?
I know, right? It really makes you appreciate the depth of knowledge contained in these ancient texts. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I'm curious, What's been the most striking insight for you so far? What's really stood out?
What's fascinating to me is how this ancient text, thousands of years old, already recognized the importance of a holistic approach to health. It's not just about, addressing the physical symptoms. It's
Yeah.
about considering emotional and environmental factors as well.
Yeah. It's like they understood that, like, our bodies are these complex systems and everything's interconnected. It's not so different from, like, the growing awareness in modern medicine about, like, the mind-body connection and the impact of lifestyle on our overall well-being.
Absolutely. This text emphasizes a key principle of TCM, restoring balance and harmony in the body.
Okay.
That's why their approach to treatment involves multiple layers, from, physical interventions like needling and heat therapy
Right.
to lifestyle modifications like diet and stress management.
So if we try to bridge this ancient wisdom with our modern understanding of digestive issues, how might we apply these principles today?
It starts with like taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture.
Okay.
Instead of, reaching for a quick fix, we ask ourselves what factors might be contributing to this discomfort. Is it stress, diet, lack of sleep?
Hmm.
It's about identifying the root cause rather than
Yeah.
just like masking the symptoms.
You mean instead of just popping an antacid for heartburn, we might ask ourselves, am I pushing myself too hard at work? Or maybe I should cut back on the spicy food.
Exactly. Well, we might not use needling for every digestive issue today.
Right.
The underlying principle of removing blockages and promoting the flow of energy is still relevant.
Okay.
We see this reflected in modern practices like acupuncture, which has shown, promising results for certain gastrointestinal conditions.
And what about that intriguing recommendation of like incorporating salty and bitter flavors into the diet? Does that hold up in modern science?
What's fascinating is that this ancient dietary advice actually aligns with, current research on gut health.
Okay.
Fermented foods and bitter greens contain compounds that can promote healthy digestion, support the growth of beneficial bacteria, and even help reduce inflammation, all key aspects of a healthy gut.
It's like they were onto something back then, even without the fancy labs and scientific equipment we have today.
It really highlights how certain, fundamental truths about the human body seem to transcend time and culture.
Right.
And it's through this kind of cross-cultural exploration that we can gain a deeper understanding of our own, health and well-being.
It's like looking at the same puzzle from different angles, and suddenly things start to click into place.
Exactly. By combining ancient wisdom with modern science, we can create a more comprehensive and holistic approach to healthcare.
This deep dive is really making me think about the power of ancient wisdom and how it can inform our modern understanding of health.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm seeing digestive health and health in general in a whole new light.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it underscores the importance of keeping an open mind and exploring diverse perspectives.
Right.
Sometimes the most profound insights come from, unexpected places.
It's like a reminder that wisdom can be found anywhere, even in ancient texts from cultures vastly different from our own.
Absolutely. And those insights can be incredibly valuable in helping us navigate our own, health journeys today.
Mhm.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious to hear what's resonating with you as our listener.
Yeah.
What thoughts or questions are coming up for you as we explore this ancient perspective on digestive health.
We've talked about diet and emotions and stuff,
Right.
but there's another piece of the puzzle that I'm really curious about,
Totally.
the environment.
Uh-huh.
How did this ancient text factor in like the external world when it came to digestive health?
That's a great question. TCM has this concept of external pathogens. Basically, environmental factors that can throw the body out of whack
Okay.
and lead to illness.
So things like weather, temperature, even like the season.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, it's interesting because the text specifically mentions that too much cold can weaken what they call the digestive fire,
Okay.
making us more prone to digestive issues.
It makes you think about like how in winter we crave those like warm, hearty meals.
Hmm.
Almost like our bodies instinctively know they need that extra heat to like counter the cold.
That's a great observation.
Yeah.
And it aligns with TCM's recommendations to dress warmly, especially around the abdomen,
Okay.
to protect those digestive organs.
It's like a reminder that it's not just about what we put in our bodies,
Right.
but also how we like protect our bodies from the outside world.
Absolutely. It's about creating a supportive environment, both, internally and externally.
Right.
And that leads to another fascinating aspect of TCM, this interconnectedness between us and the world around
This
us.
whole holistic approach is it's really eye-opening.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that, like, good health isn't just about, like, individual choices,
Hmm.
but also about recognizing how we're, like, part of this bigger picture.
Exactly. Our health is influenced not just by, what we eat or how we manage
Sure.
stress, but also by the environment we live in, the seasons, even, the energy of the people around us.
This deep dive has been a fascinating journey.
It has.
We've uncovered how ancient Chinese medicine viewed digestive health, emphasizing balance, harmony, and this incredible interconnectedness between mind, body, and environment.
Hmm.
It's given me so much to think about.
It's amazing how these insights from thousands of years ago still resonate today, isn't it?
It really is.
It's a reminder that while, medical knowledge has evolved,
Right.
some fundamental truths about the human body seem to endure.
Absolutely. There's so much we can learn from these ancient traditions, wisdom that can, guide us on our own paths towards better health and well-being.
So as you go about your day, consider how you can bring a little more, balance into your life.
Okay.
Pay attention to what you eat. Find ways to manage stress and be mindful of your surroundings. Most importantly, listen to your body.
Okay.
It's constantly giving you clues.
It's about making those conscious choices that support our, overall health and well-being.
Exactly. And remember, the journey to health is ongoing. Be patient with yourself, embrace the process, and enjoy the journey.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder these ancient insights and how they might, enrich your own understanding of health and well-being. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep thriving.